And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that Richard Petty has the most top 10s with 33, most starts with 65, and most laps completed with 17,513, all coming from Atlanta Motor Speedway on the very old surface. So anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, a.k.a. Mike Bob Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host, Christian, a.k.a. Savage NASCAR.
What's up, everybody?
All right, so we are going to be talking about this weekend's races over at the new Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to get started with the truck race. What did you think of it?
Wow. So, there's just so much chaos going on this weekend. The win by Corey Heim definitely was a huge surprise. Congratulations to him on his first career win. He's part-time, if I'm correct, in the 51 for Kyle Busch Motorsports. I may be wrong. But big win for him. And that finish was pretty crazy. I was hoping that Ty Majeski would possibly win that. Chandler Smith had a very good race. And some people are like, oh, he got robbed. But he did well. Stuart Friesen, I think, won a stage. My pick, Matt Crafton, was doing okay, but I think he ended up getting caught up in something. Let me see where he finished. Not good. Matt DiBenedetto struggled. We saw a couple wrecks in this race, and John Hunter Nemechek, didn't he get involved in a wreck too?
No, he finished like third or something.
No, John Hunter finished 24th.
So he did get involved in a wreck.
Yeah, he was in one. Yeah, there was a big one on the
never mind then.
Yeah, but probably one of the oddest things I saw from the truck race was Hayley Deegan's tire catching on fire. That's
other contact and cut that left rear, and that created some fire underneath.
Probably cut the brake line, so that's probably brake fluid catching on fire.
Had to pull Hayley from the truck, so she's had to go to the infield care center. We hope to hear from her shortly.
It's the most fire I've seen on a tire in a minute. But overall, the race I thought was pretty decent. And what about you, Mike?
I mean, it's about what I expected because I just don't like the truck and Xfinity Super Speedway package. So it was an okay race. Not really too much to add on from what you said. Congratulations to Corey Heim. That finish was incredible.
Coming to the white flag. Chandler Smith continues to lead. Smith trying to go back-to-back after winning at Vegas. Heim goes to the bottom. Getting some help from John Hunter Nemechek. New leader, Corey Heim. Wow. Chandler Smith left on the outside. Here comes Thorsport. Ben Rhodes in third or in second, trying to go to the outside of Nemechek. But it's going to be Chandler Smith or Corey Heim. Corey Heim wins at Atlanta.
Well, not incredible, but it was a great finish. Chandler Smith, I feel bad for because Nemechek, he was supposed to push him, but then he went to Heim. But either way, a KBM truck won the race. And I'm not sure what happened to Nemechek at the end. I thought he finished, but I might have to take a look at it again because I just saw Heim won like out of the blue. I guess I wasn't paying too much attention to it. But, yeah, it was overall just a typical truck super speedway race. The Hayley Deegan tire thing was a little weird, I'd say. I'm not really sure how it happened, but she has some pretty bad luck. One driver that I would like to give some credit to is Dean Thompson. He had finished in the top 10 in the previous race before this one and was running really good, and then he got involved in the wreck with Lawless Allen.
The middle, and there's a contact and an accident. Looked like Lawless Allen there in the 45.
Dean Thompson. Michael, we just talked about him. Jack Wood also involved.
Another truck that had been up front.
Tough start this year.
Eckes got some contact as well.
So unfortunate for him. I hope he can continue to do good. But, yeah, pretty much what I expected.
Now, one thing too I thought about was Chandler Smith. He was not too happy about what happened towards the end. He felt like John Hunter Nemechek influenced or basically impacted the finish of that race.
Right.
And there was some discussion about that, about Chandler Smith being like, oh, we should have gone with team orders, you know, just stuff like that. So what is your thoughts on that?
I mean, he wanted his teammate to win, so that's understandable. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Either way, a teammate was going to win, so it didn't really impact it. But I can understand why Chandler would be upset, especially with the season that he's been having over the past couple weeks. All right, so now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 2 of you said good, and that was basically it. Wow. Oh, yeah, Instagram finally has a new option where they have multiple options for polls, so I can say percentages now. Basically 100%.
Okay.
Henry,
Nice.
sorry, what did you say?
I was just saying nice.
Oh, okay. Henry 24257 says, good race with some single file, not terrible, but not stellar, 6 out of 10. I got to agree with that. Driver of the day,
Sure.
John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, he was up front for most of the day. I think I'd give it to him or Chandler Smith. Okay, guys, so after looking at the results, I have officially decided my driver of the day pick is Stuart Friesen. Probably Chandler,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to say Chandler Smith was the driver today as well. I have to agree with you on that.
Okay, so now let's talk about the Xfinity race.
Did not watch the Xfinity race or the truck race, but I saw the highlights. Ty Gibbs winning, no surprise, but I really was hoping he won it. Austin Hill, he was so close. He was so close, but he couldn't get done. Mason Massey got 6th, so that was pretty cool to see. Same thing with London Castle again in the top 5. Riley Herbst was just wrecking people and ended up finishing 4th.
Something's wrong with the 31 car entering turn 1. Riley Herbst is going to make quick work of him. Oh! And he turns in.
Hang on to it. He's on you. Hang on to it. Whole field's coming.
Oh my.
My pick to win, if I'm correct, who did I pick again? Daniel Hemrick? Yeah, Daniel Hemrick. He ended up getting wrecked. Justin Allgaier got wrecked. A lot of contenders did. There was a lot of cautions, and it was a preview for today's race.
Yeah, Riley Herbst, I think, deserves Clown of the Week for wrecking Myatt Snyder when he already had a problem. Even though Myatt Snyder, I don't know why he was out on the track if he had a problem. So I don't know really what to say about that, but Riley definitely flat out dumped him.
Yeah.
The race itself, again, is basically what I expected. I don't really have too much to add on because, again, it's just the way I expected. I don't like the truck and Xfinity Super Speedway packages. So overall, it was a decent race, I'd say. I thought there was going to be a different winner, like Austin Hill. He's being a threat on these super speedways now, competing there with, the Collie cars. But surprisingly, they were not as dominant as they usually were on this super speedway. Like at Daytona, they did a good job. This race, they weren't together the whole race like they had been. Allmendinger was up there, but that was it.
Yeah.
Castle was mostly in the top 15, sort of top 10, and then Hemrick, I think he was in the top 10 as well. So, yeah, they couldn't really do anything together. And then Sheldon Creed, I thought was going to have another good run, but I didn't see where he finished at. I knew he was up front. But, yeah, I thought either Austin Hill, Ryan Sieg, or Ty Gibbs was going to win. And Ty Gibbs with that awesome move, similar to what Austin Hill pulled on Daytona at the first race of the season. So
these green-white checkers, though, it's so hard to say what's going to happen, but we're going to find out right now.
Double overtime here at Atlanta.
There goes the shove
Outside
fast
door.
here.
Still on you. Locked on. Pushing. Outside quarter. Bumper.
The inside lane's looking good here, Joey. Ty Gibbs still pushing into 3.
I thought Austin Hill had the advantage.
Outside lane is Rowling. Hill got loose. Here comes Ryan Sieg. He's leading. White flag is out. 1 to go. Next flag ends the race. Here's Ty Gibbs looking low for the top spot.
What a
He's
move
got
he just
him.
made there. I think he's going to clear him, but it's not over yet.
Ty Gibbs out front. The crossover. Ty
Here
got
comes
way
the
ahead.
cars up top. No
they're
run,
three
though,
wide.
no momentum.
3 wide for second. That's A.J. Allmendinger with a push from Landon Castle. And Ty Gibbs
Ty's
is
checked out.
gone. Ty Gibbs looking for his second win of the year. He did it at Las Vegas. Back to the checkered flag. He's a winner in overtime at Atlanta.
Yeah,
Overall, decent race.
Creed finished 9th. I was gonna say this too. I was so sad for Ryan Sieg. He's never won before, and he was so close. He was just one lap away, and he gets passed like that. Man, I really hope Sieg wins soon. And he was so close. And Kyle Weatherman was a driver that was definitely impressive. He finished 8th in the 92.
I was gonna say Kyle Weatherman and Mason Massey, they really impressed me coming in the top 10. And Kyle Weatherman, I was reading something today. He's been having a pretty good season. Definitely a season unlike what he's had before with the MHR cars. So let's hope this continues for Kyle. Let's take a look at what you guys have to say. It's 50-50 with great and good. One of you said great and one of you said good. Henry24257 says, good racing, but bad finish. That was not a bad finish. It was not a great finish, but it for sure was not a bad one.
He probably thought it was bad because of Gibbs winning.
Probably. Rather have a boring racing with a good finish. 6 out of 10. Ooh, that's. I don't know if I agree with you there, Henry. I'd like to have good racing with a decent finish like today.
Well, honestly, the Xfinity race was a 6 or a 5 out of 10 in my opinion.
Exactly.
I thought it was worse than the truck race. I thought the truck race was better.
Right. No driver of the day. I don't really know who I want to give it to. I mean, Gregson was up there a little bit, I think. So was Allgaier. I don't really know who I want to give it to.
My driver today, Raleigh Herbst, the wreck machine.
Well, I don't really have a driver of the day for once, so yeah.
Me and Mike, for those that don't know, me and Mike literally joke about Raleigh Herbst all the time and how much he wrecks and wrecks people. So that was my little joke. But on the serious side, my driver of the day, I want to say Ryan Sieg. I mean, he was so close. He was so close, and he ran good the entire race.
I'm gonna go with, I guess Justin Allgaier. I don't know. I'm a little biased with that pick. I don't really know what to say about it. So now let's talk about the Cup race. What did you think of this?
Well, I guess we could talk. Do you want to talk about the configuration and how the racing was before we talk about the actual race events that happened?
Yeah, I guess we could.
Okay, my opinion on the new Atlanta. It is still not better than the old Atlanta, the one that was used until 1997. That's the goated Atlanta. That was 4 or 5 lanes wide. This new Atlanta, very tight, low, narrow. But it was like pack racing. It was something I was so surprised to see whenever they had practice, you know. It was definitely closer. The previous Atlanta, it had some good races, but it wasn't that entertaining, and the races weren't that good. This one today, it was entertaining, but way, way too many cautions. There was just a lot of unnecessary wrecks, and we saw some tire issues yet again that need to be addressed.
Right.
But this new Atlanta, it could get better over time. I just, a lot of people like it. And I feel like a lot of those people that liked it were the younger fans, and that's not to hate or bash or anything to anybody. Everyone can have their own opinion on this because, it's a hot topic. It's just new, just happened. We were just watching it today, and we're fascinated by what we saw with some things. I mean, a lot of us were surprised by how that finish was too. Atlanta hasn't had a close finish that came down like that in a long time, a long, long time. So, it's not the best Atlanta, but it still has some work to do. But definitely, it was a big turnout too. A lot of people were there. What about you, Mike? What do you think about it?
I thought the racing was okay. It was not like Daytona and Talladega, which, I mean, I both liked because it's a different track. It's a different super speedway. And that's what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see another ripoff of Daytona or Talladega. I wanted to see something with pack racing, but a little different. And we saw that. There wasn't as much pushing as some car times in Daytona. Like Daytona and Talladega, there's a bunch of pushing. This race, yeah, of course there was pushing, but they also were more so drafting. Like towards the end, we saw Bubba Wallace trying to draft past William Byron. So talking about which Atlanta is the best, I mean, personally, I wasn't alive to see the old Atlanta, but I was alive to see this mid-tier Atlanta, the one that was crappy and caused this whole repave. But, you know, from the highlight that I did see of the old Atlanta with the championship race in 1992, that was definitely a superior Atlanta. You could race close. It was very fast and good to pass around. And obviously the old Atlanta that we just witnessed last year, that track sucked, especially toward the end. It sucks. And this Atlanta, I don't think it sucks. I think it's going to get better over time as the drivers start to get more used to it. But, yeah. I mean, I like it. I'll give it a chance. I'm not going to complain about it. But one thing that this track and the old Atlanta had in common was the tires. The Goodyear tires are absolutely horrible. I've been hearing this for years. And I personally am starting to agree with it. At first, I didn't care about the tire compound as much. I just wanted to see them race. But now I'm really, really tired of this tire. Goodyear, no pun intended there, by the way. Goodyear does not know how to make a tire for one lug. NASCAR needs to either change that axle thing, whatever they did with the axle and the suspension, they need to change that, or it's time to move on from Goodyear. I know that it's been the official supplier of NASCAR for years, but if we're going to see like 3 to 5 tire failures per race where these cars are running good, like Ross Chastain.
Leader's in the wall.
Easy, stay low.
And caution is out.
There, stay up. It's 10.
He did a heck of a job of not sending that car all the way around and see how much damage.
Left rear blue, right side hit the wall, right rear tail first.
Oh boy.
Tyler Reddick.
What has happened to Tyler Reddick? Jamie.
He just radioed to his team. I got a vibration. He's saying it's a right rear flat. His team getting up on the wall. Trouble for our leader here as he drops back.
He just got hit.
He hits the wall, guys.
And William Byron is involved.
If we're going to see this every week, then what's the point of it? It's taking so many good cars out of contention, and it's awful. If they can't make a tire fit for one lug nut, go talk to a supplier like Firestone or Pirelli that can.
I mean, you have some good points there. I feel like I don't think they're going to get rid of Goodyear, and I don't think that they're going to separate their ties with them. That's what I should say. Now, if I were to make decisions, I would get Hoosier back, but then again, Hoosier doesn't have tires for NASCAR anymore. That's a long story I could get into. But a lot of drivers were upset about the race today. Kyle Busch, he did not like it.
Is it making you more an entertainer than a driver?
Yep.
You like this version of Atlanta better than the old one?
Nope.
Kurt Busch he was speechless when he got out of the car.
It was pretty wild out there with all the different setups and the draft. Pretty wild, you know. We did what we could to patch up our damage. We got caught up in one of the situations, and that took us off of offense and put us on defense to just ride and find holes where we could. And that was our main goal, was to position ourselves with 20 to go and hold it wide open at that point and see what we got. And we ended up, I guess we're third now. Somebody got penalized, but the way our monster team continues to not give up and learn from each situation. Our main goal was to run all 500 miles, and the car has a couple scratches on it, but we're out there for every run to gather data.
What did you make of this racing?
It's pretty wild. It's hard to really even say or digest right now.
What do you think of the track? And what did you?
It's pretty wild. It's really hard to digest right now. I'm hoping we can go unrestricted in July.
I saw Darian Black Flags Matters tweet of Kurt Busch when he's getting interviewed outside the car. He was just like, I can't even process right now, because it was just very odd race. I feel like it was more for the entertainment. Oh man, I had a bad voice crack there. Entertainment. I feel like NASCAR is the new configuration. Basically, it's set for entertainment and to get a lot of people talking and just, what I'm saying, for the newer generation, all that. My opinion on that, Mike. But yeah, I can't really think of how else to explain it. It's just, I just feel like it's another thing NASCAR is using to, I guess, promote and I guess trying the best they can to keep the new generation interested. That's just my opinion. And I know a lot of people probably may disagree with me on that, but it's true. But I mean, then again, if I have the chance, I might try to go next year to Atlanta. It probably, I bet it was way funner to watch in person than it was on TV today, because from the views I've seen from the track, it looked very, very good in person, and the TV version was not that good. Fox broadcasts have gone downhill. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with you, because you make interesting points. NASCAR is definitely trying to get more of that younger demographic, and I guess they realized Daytona and Talladega get the most views, and they needed to fix Atlanta. But like I said last year, I do believe I said this last year on the show, they need to get more input from their drivers on changing the track. Most of the drivers were fine with the way the track was. The fans were not fine with I would say a majority of fans were not fine with the way the track was. I mean, yeah, there are fans that are like, no, don't touch it. But in my opinion, it just needed a simple repave. It didn't need the super speedway configuration, but because I like super speedways, I didn't mind this race. It was not my favorite super speedway race at all. I think it was not a great one. I mean, it was a good one, but not a great one like the last few have been.
It was like a 6 out of 10,
yeah.
Honestly, or 6.5, because there was entertaining race at times, and there's also train, like choo-choo.
Yep.
At times too. But there was a lot of wrecks that were just unnecessary as well. Hamlin pushing Larson in the middle of the corner when you know that that's not going to work.
Just push and push. It finally gets down to the left rear. Yeah, you just...
Chase Elliott took a shot in the right door.
Right, and I'm wondering if that will hurt that toe link that we talk about on the right rear, because it hit him pretty solid in the right rear.
You know what I'm saying? And he's the one that calls Bowman a hack when he's literally doing it. But anyways, we're not going to get there. But yeah, it's just a lot going on. If you have any opinion or anything different about it, just comment down below. We're interested in hearing your thoughts.
I mean, one thing I think I've noticed was that there were a lot more wrecks in this race than the Xfinity and truck race. And that doesn't usually happen. Like, I think fans were joking around, like, oh, there's going to be so many more wrecks in the Xfinity and truck race. And, the Cup race, I mean, I didn't expect it to go scot-free. I expected there to be wrecks, but not that many wrecks. There was, at some points, there was a wreck like every 2 laps. It was unbelievable. If the Xfinity drivers can handle it, then so can you guys, especially if you guys are the best drivers in America.
Now, this race was close to setting the record for most cautions all time at Atlanta. The record was set in 2007 in the fall race, which was won by Jimmy Johnson. That one had 14. There's been a couple over the past decade that were like 10 and 11, and 14 is the all-time record. I think today, didn't we have 12 or 13? We had 12 or 13.
Yeah.
There was a race in, I want to say somewhere in the 60s that only 12 cars finished. And I don't remember how many cautions there were in that race, but I know that race is mainly known for Marvin Petch winning and JT Putney flipped into infield. But anyways, that race had a lot of wrecks as well, but I think that one had like 10 or 11 cautions. But I was surprised by the amount of cautions we had. Yes, I knew there's going to be wrecks, but I didn't expect there to be the big ones. We saw 2 big wrecks.
Right. A couple of driver shout-outs I want to give out. One may seem biased, and the other one is not really biased. First shout-out, which is not biased, Ross Chastain. He had a flat tire right near the end of the first stage. He was doing really, really good. He had a fast car. He was working well in traffic, and then all of a sudden his tire went flat and he hit the wall. Fortunately, he didn't have too much damage. He got it fixed up, and then I think he had a problem with the fueling or whatever, and he ended up finishing like second or third. So big props to Ross Chastain. I think he's going to get a win. And I'm going to say my pick for next year, or next week's, not next week, God, next July's Atlanta. And that will be Ross Chastain. But yeah, I think Ross Chastain, definitely there's a win coming soon for him. He's had a top 5 in the last few races. So we'll see what goes on with him. And the other one, you may call me biased, but I'm not trying to be biased whatsoever. This guy right here, I don't know if you can read it, Joey Logano. Joey Logano, he had gotten hit by Tyler Reddick yet again at a super speedway.
Got a lot more cars.
Yeah, when you're up front like that, they're 2 wide stacked behind you. See Tyler Reddick in the outside. Right here, the car's going to wiggle. Looks to me like a right rear tire going down.
Technically super speedway. He got hit just slightly. He went a lap down, got that all fixed up, got his lap back, and ended up finishing 9th after the Christopher Bell yellow line, white line, whatever it's called, incident.
Clear, the top's all broken apart. They're up in the fence. 20 little run to your bumper, still lined up. 20 right width, out of line inside. Keep the 99 right width, 99, pushing. Still inside.
Personally, I think NASCAR made the right call with that. I'm not sure if he was forced or not, but from the angle that I saw, trying to pay attention to Wallace, Chastain, and Byron, he did go below the yellow line and he did advance his position, and he was not forced. Yeah. So for once, NASCAR made a good, consistent call.
Exactly. And, I was reacting to the race, and I put a video up of my YouTube channel of my reaction at the end. And I was like, Bell's at the inside. Wait, he can't do that. He's below the yellow line. I was like, wait, the line's not yellow. And then I realized, and then of course later they said Bell was since the end of the lead lap line. But I was going to say, Ross Chastain, I've been saying this, he's going to win soon. And my guy has been performing amazing. 3 straight top 3s. And Chastain, he's one of the nicest drivers in sport, one of my favorite drivers. Takes a lot of time to hang out with fans and take pictures, sign autographs, and he's just a great guy in general.
Right.
William Byron just dominated this race. He led so much. Bubba Wallace had a big chance until he got wrecked at the end, but
Byron won side by side behind him.
Oh,
Bubba Wallace.
And Blaney into the wall with Briscoe.
Here comes a run. The one of Ross Chastain. You're going to have to block.
Oh, below the white line there by Christopher Bell.
They're racing side by side. Perfect scenario for William Byron. There's going to be a massive run coming off this one car. 4.
Byron top to bottom. Hugs that white line. Drifts up and comes to the line. He wins it as Busher, Hayley have a hard crash into the wall.
Yeah, one driver too that was really impressive for me, Mike, was Kurt Busch, your pick. Kurt Busch, he got involved in the wreck. He ended up coming back and finishing 3rd. My pick, Kevin Harvick, he was leading at one point, and then he just decided not to use the brakes in that wreck, and with Eric Jones and Austin Cindric, and just piled in.
Oh, and he gets piled into by Austin Cindric.
And the right rear is down. Right rear's on the wheel.
And a freaking tire go down again.
Eric Jones, even though he got wrecked, he still was in the top 10 at towards the end, and he ended up finishing like 14th or something like that. Chase Briscoe too. He got involved in an incident. He moved his way up, and there's a lot of guys that were involved in incidents and still finished in a great finishing position. So, man, there's just a lot of drivers that were pretty impressive in this race. Eric Almirola had a great run. Sure, Haas Racing did too until they just got caught up in other people's problems. So, yeah.
Yeah, Kurt Busch, he did pretty decent. Ross Chastain and William Byron definitely were the two dominant cars in the race. Like, I figured as soon as Chastain got wrecked that Byron was going to win because he was just up in the front. Whether he was leading or not, he was just up in the front the whole race. So I feel like if Chastain didn't get that flat, he would have competed a little bit more like he was coming back. But, yeah, still good effort from both of those guys. Congratulations to Byron. So now let's take a look at what you guys had to say. 42% or 5 of you said great. 50% or 6 of you said good. And 8% of you /1 said meh/okay.
Okay.
All right. You call Dr. Jones 28 says different racing for Atlanta, but it was pretty good racing. Henry 24257 says crazy race. I liked it, but tires need to be addressed. Exactly. Traffic Paradise says donkey winner.
What? Byron won, but yeah.
Billy B Jazz says Team Trackhouse Suarez fan. All right.
Wow.
And the driver.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was going to say Suarez. I'm a little upset at him for not slowing down and taking out more people than you need to in that Cedric Jones and Harvick wreck. He just piled rode him.
I mean, if you have to be upset at anybody, it's Harvick. Jones was clearly slow. Jones was clearly slow on the track. You have perfect amount of time to swerve out of the way.
The track, though, Mike. They came back up the track, though. Yes, he's 47 years old, and he probably should have braked earlier. But then again, they were down on the apron and just shot back up the track.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even hit the brakes.
Suarez definitely should have hit the brakes. I'm just saying Harvick definitely should have known better to hit the brakes. Heck, both of them should know better to hit the brakes. Suarez has been in this sport for what, like 6-7 years, and Harvick's been in the sport for nearly 20.
Like 20.
Like 21 or 22.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Driver of the day is a tie between Bubba and Ross Chastain. I don't think Bubba Wallace, but Ross Chastain definitely. I feel like Ross Chastain came back from that incident. He had a fast car, and I'm gonna give my driver of the day to Ross Chastain.
There's a couple that also struck my eye. Mark Truex Jr., he started 26th. He ended up finishing 8th. And then Corey LaJoie with his best career finish of 5th. But, man, it's hard for me to choose because Chastain, then again, with all that happened with him, and then William Byron, he led the most laps. I got to go Byron, even though I'm a Chastain fan. And, I like Hendrick Motorsports too, but I'm going to say Byron is the driver of the day.
All right. So now, time for the meme of the race. Here it is.
Woo.
This one is made by NASCAR Wars. And the context with this one is just the amount of commercials Fox has. Christian, you mentioned it earlier in our show, that the broadcast for Fox has gone downhill. And I got to say, I agree with you. First off, I like having Jeff Gordon back. He brought a lot of insight and personality into the sport, which is something that Danica did not do in her appearances. But
she just showed up like a couple times, but just give her time. Anyways, go ahead.
I did not like Danica Patrick. I will not explain why. It's pretty obvious. But anyways,
yeah.
But yeah, Jeff, it was nice to see him. Fox, I don't know why. Their broadcasts have just been so weird. Anytime there's been like any amount of action, especially at super speedway races, like there's going to be like a huge battle for the lead with like 5 cars, they always cut to commercial. And it's that side-by-side stuff because they want people to still stay invested in the race, which I feel like they should not have commercials, especially during green flag runs. I mean, yeah, I understand that, NASCAR has sponsors to fund the races, of course. It's NASCAR, and that's literally one of the things they're known for. But you don't see sports like NFL and NBA have commercials when they're in the middle of a fast break. Like, they don't just say, okay, guys, it's fourth down, or not fourth down. It's first down. Here's the pass. Don't go anywhere. Here's a commercial. No,
Exactly.
they let it happen because there's a play. I understand if there's a caution. No one wants to watch the caution. Then that's when you do the commercials, not when there's a huge green flag run. Now, I get maybe if there's like a massive green flag run that spans over 100 laps, but if there's a yellow, just do it.
My thing is, right, I get your point, but for me, my reason with this is this. Yes, they're going to have to do commercials. That's just part of media and all that. Now, if they were to go, I want to say if it's 20 laps or less from the start of a restart, that's like max. Like, maybe go to caution at like 30 laps after a restart, not like 10 laps or 7 laps after a restart like they have been. Just do one like when you know there's going to be a long green flag run, or when there's not a battle for the lead, or they're 3 wide, for example. They went to commercial when another wreck happened. So
right.
It's just how it is. It's happened in the past, but I haven't seen this many people complain about the broadcast ever. I haven't seen this many people ever complain about NASCAR broadcast than the last 2 years.
Right.
I've went back and watched races from the 90s and the early 2000s. And yes, there was some wrecks that happened during the caution. That's just how racing is.
Right.
But I feel like then again, people sometimes have to realize the broadcasting aspect of it and the racing broadcast aspect of it, that it's unpredictable at times. And with commercials, that's going to happen. You can't just say, oh, we can't have commercials in a race anymore. If you don't want to see commercials, go to the race. You could go buy a ticket and go to the race.
Right.
That's my thoughts on it.
Right. I mean, I definitely can agree with your point there. I just feel like they shouldn't do it when it's a long green flag run and just wait for cautions. So, yeah. But, I mean, I get it as well. Like, if the race goes on too long and, you need to make the advertisers happy, then, then you have commercials. But it just seems like they always find the inopportune times to do it. Like, just let it happen for a few laps. But anyways.
Your point, I want to hear what other people have to say about this. See if we can put up a poll on our story or something, or if you're still watching at this point, comment down below as well.
Yeah, comment down below your thoughts on all the commercials in NASCAR. And it's both providers, NBC and Fox. They both have commercials at the most inopportune times. So I guess the big news of the week, there is some news. NASCAR and Hendrick to pursue racing the next-gen car at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. This is pretty interesting. I don't think it was warranted, the hype, because there's another NASCAR YouTuber or an IndyCar YouTuber by the name of David Land, and he was saying that this is going to be groundbreaking. I personally don't think this is going to be groundbreaking. I feel like it's more of a way for NASCAR to show the next-gen car, and, that's really cool. I hope it doesn't give them any ideas to do something that would not fit with NASCAR, and it's more of like a one-off thing. But I'm interested to see this. Again, I don't think it warranted a huge announcement, but it's going to be very interesting to see who drives the car. Are they going to get like the Hendrick drivers, or are they going to get supercar drivers to drive it? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And how is the car going to perform with all those IMSA cars?
Now, I personally think this is really cool. I've been hoping that NASCAR would go back somewhere international, like in Europe or the east part of the world. And for them to go to Le Mans is pretty cool. Le Mans is one of my favorite tracks, like ever. Now, I didn't expect it to happen, but I was very happy that it did. They're basically trying to compete in the 24 Hours of Le Mans for the first time ever. Chad Ganallis is the program manager of the whole thing. I feel like with your point on who's going to drive it, that's going to be something that's going to be kind of hard for them to choose because there's a lot of road course rangers that have run in NASCAR that they could put in there. If I were them, I would see. I don't know if the 24 Hours of Le Mans is on the same weekend next year as a NASCAR Cup race, so that could play a factor too. If it's not, then again, they'll have a Cup driver in there. So I know a lot of people are going to be continuing to talk about this. I think it was warranted, the hype. I think that it definitely deserves news. It's huge. It's going to be very interesting to see how this car races against other type of cars. I like seeing different kinds of cars race against each other as well. That's just part of being a motorsports fan. I feel like a lot of people think the same way. I think the car will probably get embarrassed by some of these other cars at Le Mans, but I think it's just going to be really awesome to see.
Right, and when I say like warranted the hype, I mean like it didn't deserve like a whole news conference maybe, and it wasn't groundbreaking.
Maybe later on, but not like when the news broke.
But yeah, it deserves some hype for sure. Of course, it's a freaking stock car going up against these supercars. Like there's so many different cool types of supercars, and it's going to go up against these cars. So once again, it'll be very interesting to see. All right, so now speaking of road courses, let's get into our picks for next weekend's race at COTA, or this weekend if you're watching this video. So for all three series, for the truck race, I got 2 picks. I'm not entirely sure. If this guy is racing, I'm going to go with Kaz Gralla. And if not, I think Tyler Ankrum.
Wow. So is this the truck race we're talking first?
Correct.
Well, hopefully it doesn't rain this year to where we see what happened last year. I'm hoping, Circuit of America is one of my favorite tracks, road courses in the United States. And I feel like if it's clear, non-rain, it's going to be an amazing race. It's just going to be very very hard to predict, to be honest with you. I don't have a truck pick at the moment, so I'm trying to find an entry list. But Mike, if you can you give your Xfinity picks?
Yeah, sure, Christian. I think I'm gonna go. It's between AJ Allmendinger and Sheldon Creed, but I kind of want to be different because I picked Allmendinger for basically every road course last year in Xfinity. So I'm gonna go with Sheldon Creed.
Okay. Yeah, Sheldon Creed's not a bad pick, but then again, he's been disappointing at times. Every time I picked him, he ends up doing bad. Man, for the truck race, I think Kaz Gralla may have a shot. I don't know if Kyle Busch is running or not. Not quite sure about that. Tyler Ankrum, as you said, I think he's a good pick to win. I really would like to see him win.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to do a risky pick here. I'm going to do a really, really, really risky pick here. I'm going to say Timmy Hill wins. Timmy Hill.
I'm sorry, Christian, but what?
Calvin the 56 Toyota for Combo Enterprises. I think that Timmy Hill is going to win at COTA. He will do well in this race. Are you okay, Mike? And if he doesn't win, then Ty Majeski. I think it's going to be a new winner. Timmy Hill, yes, as I said, it's going to be a risky pick, but I'm confident that Hill or Majeski can win this race.
Majeski's a good pick. Timmy Hill, I don't know. No, but what's your Xfinity pick?
Ooh, Xfinity series. I might do another. I'm just kidding. Justin Allgaier has been good on road courses. He's very tempting to pick, but every time I pick him, he ends up wrecking. Sheldon Creed, the same thing. Man, I want to go with the Colleague car because Colleague's been good at road courses too. And you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I say AJ Allmendinger wins this race.
All right, so now for the Cup race. Now, I'm going to go with a semi-risky pick. It's not as risky as Timmy Hill, but it's a little bit risky. I'm going to go with Joey Logano. He led 14 laps last year. He was pretty solid. He finished third. And he's a pretty decent road course racer, so I could maybe see him winning the race. Now, some other options I have: Austin Cindric, Kyle Busch, and of course Chase Elliott.
Yeah, you know, Joey Logano won the first stage in last year's race. And those guys, as you said, could win this. Last year, we saw guys like Michael McDowell finish up in the top 10. We saw Chase Briscoe, AJ Allmendinger. We saw Kyle Larson up there, Chase Elliott. You know, guys like that. RCR did well last year, too, there. Austin Dillon finished well. Yeah, and, you know, Tyler Reddick was in the top 10. But to be on the safe side, I'm going to say Chase Elliott wins, so Hendrick is going to get their fourth win of the season already. I feel like Hendrick's going to win. Chase Elliott, he's probably going to end up winning later on in the race. He's going to do sort of decent, but he's going to work his way up and win. I don't think there's going to be that many wrecks, but we'll probably see a good bit of tire failures again. But we may see some spins, but that's my pick for the Cup race.
Right, and I definitely hope we don't see any rain at all throughout the whole weekend, because especially on Sunday, rain, as many of you guys know, definitely ruined the experience at COTA. I think that COTA is going to be a good track, and I'm willing to give it another shot. So yeah, let's look up. I'm going to look up the weather forecast real quick, so we're on the safe side. Next Sunday, 5% chance of rain, a high temperature of 80 degrees, and 13-mile-an-hour winds. So it looks good right now. It doesn't look like there's going to be any rain, but there's small percentages in the afternoon. Yeah, fingers crossed for some good racing. But yeah, that's going to conclude this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials and join the official Nasboys Fantasy League. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace. Peace.
You want me calling now, you wanting what I think. All these women lie.